You're a hooker.
I knew it. Hey! Hey, I'm Christy Glass.
I'm Rose.
Rose Perlman.
Very good.
And Rose was just asking me, where in the world did you find me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found you on Pearl Soho's Instagram
Yes.
page.
Soho.
Yeah.
I know them a lot.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, I see wool. I see something I've never made before. There's a class, and I just kind of went exploring and decided I needed to meet you. And so instead of just having like an afternoon tea with people, I'm like, why don't you be on my YouTube channel? So I can ask a couple questions for everyone else to hear too. So tell us your story.
Well, my story begins, I have parents who are both artists,
Wow.
raised in Vermont, but they were New York artists who moved up to Vermont
Oh, for
to
like
raise their
respite.
children and to be hippies a little bit. And so I was raised in this very artistic environment, and they also, my father was a director of an art residency program, which means there was hundreds of artists coming and going in this very small town. So my meals were a part of this center, you know, the studio visits, the whole thing I was really immersed in, me and my sister. So I lived in this hippie artist place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And so did you know you were going to be an artist too?
No, I rebelled.
You rebelled?
Yeah. I told them I was going to be a lawyer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out for you?
They, you know, not so good.
Did you make it all the way to law school?
I made it, what?
Did you make it all the way to law school?
No. I think I just wanted to, you know, to get them a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I didn't even make it to college. I went to college for photography,
Mhm.
which was different from my parents' paintings, I felt.
Yeah,
So
it's
I-
still
I-
art, but
It's still art, but I felt removed from what they were doing because I did rebel against the idea of painting or whatever my parents were into.
mm-hmm.
I wanted like a very kind of clean and orderly lifestyle.
Okay. And they were more.
Oh, everything was just, you know, there was just a lot of chaos, but good chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, I wanted to live in Connecticut and have a very clean house.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I wanted.
Well, and I'm in the apartment, and it seems very like simple, clean lines. You know, white space.
Well, it's new. I just moved in.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah, that's why. And don't look too close. But thank you.
No, but I feel like if there was going to be an apartment in Connecticut, this would be in Connecticut.
Yeah, there would be like 5 other rooms.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 5 times the space.
What are you gonna do?
Okay, so how did you go from photography to who you are today? Talk about that journey.
So, of course, once I left my upbringing, once I went to school, then I wanted to do art. And then I was kind of sneaking it in and not telling my parents. And so then I was exploring a lot of different things. I love to just create with simple things that are you can find in a hardware store, makeup tools myself. I'm not into reading instructions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like looking at pictures and kind of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So things that take a lot of detail, like sewing or like perfect, like I'll do what I can.
Well, and to me, that's interesting because I could see you looking at a photograph and kind of, what's the word when you deconstruct it?
Deconstruct, very good.
Yeah, deconstruct. She is a newborn and I'm like
Yeah.
just old. Deconstruct it, right? Like what, I like to do that too. It's kind of like those I Spy photos, you're just only with like a craft. Like, how did they do that? If I really look close, I can figure it out.
Right, without reading.
Yeah, without reading.
Who's got time for that?
Oh my gosh, I was at the dentist the other day and she gave me these pages to sign. I'm like, reading is difficult. Can you just tell me what this says? And I will sign it.
Oh, well, that's better than me. I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, sign it
Just
away.
sign it.
It's too many words.
Everyone signs them, right?
Okay, so what happened then when you were sort of hardware storing and crafting and deconstructing?
Yeah, so then I was like exploring and I was painting, but not really telling my parents that I was painting, and I would just do a lot of different things. I picked up knitting.
And did you teach yourself to knit also?
Yes, I did. I remember walking around with like my first project and be like, know how to cast off? Know how to cast off? Because again, I don't really read so well the instructions, and I just couldn't figure it out, I guess. It just seems so simple now.
Yeah.
But I remember like, and finally a guy was like, yeah, I can show you how to cast off. So that's me. So I'm always trying different things. My mother, when she had kids, because they're both oil painters.
There's a tiny bit of everything.
Tiny bit, yeah. So she could no longer get to her studio in oil paint. 2 kids, imagine that.
Mhm.
So she started rug hooking.
Mm.
And in Vermont, in rural areas, rug hooking is kind of a big thing. It's very traditional. Strips of wool or wool yarn, and it's a punching method into a backing. So it's very simple to do. No instructions really needed. And she would interpret her crazy paintings with wool. And it's, yeah, and it's one of those things where she could do it in front of the television. She could do it while she was keeping an eye on us. She could do it for 5 minutes and then put it down and not pick it up for days. And so it was a constant fixture in our living room. They were always around us. Of course, I ignored it completely. Didn't give her any credit. But then years later, I was like, what was that? Yeah, can you show me how to do that? It took years. But she was the original, because even though traditional rug hookers were everywhere in Vermont, you could go to the next town over and get your supplies, they were all doing very traditional. So what she was doing was looked so different.
So talk about what is traditional and what is the difference between that and what she was doing.
So right now, rug hooking's like creeping up there, you know, we're inching our way into the fiber world. But the reason that it wasn't really on people's radar for so long is probably because of the style. It was very traditional, a lot of folky scenes, barnyards, cats, animals, dark muted colors.
Maroon. I'm picturing maroon and a cat with angel wings.
And there you go.
Did I nail it?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. I can see it exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
You see that?
Absolutely.
And it has a smile.
Of course.
The
With
cat.
something written on the bottom and like a
Friendship
friendship.
and
home.
cats.
Welcome.
Home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
No offense if you like that, but
no,
it wasn't your jam.
Honestly, the traditionalists, you cannot touch them with technique. You cannot touch them. I look at these pieces and they are so incredibly skilled. Yeah, and beautiful, and they're not all like muted, and some are a bit abstract or a bit playful, and they're amazing. I mean, there's a lot of incredible traditional rug hookers out there. It's just not as visible as the bright abstract pieces.
Yeah. The only thing I remember was seeing like a horse head.
Yeah.
Or like a rainbow, like a little kit, like at Michael's or something, or Joanne. That's the only thing I can think of as far as being exposed to rug hooking in the history of my life. And then I think maybe I've seen it a couple times at maybe Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool. Like
Yes.
maybe 1 or 2
You would
booths.
see it there, for sure.
And I have a friend who was like very drawn to it, and I sort of was in theory, but I'm like, I don't know. And that's why I'm here today.
That's what you
Because I want to know more about it, because I think it might be my jam too.
I think it is so satisfying.
Yeah.
Because it's so quick. And if you're a knitter or a crocheter, it goes so fast that you can do like a little project in a few hours.
Yeah. Okay, so talk about what your parents were doing that was different, and then why, because something about that drew you back to it. So what was your mom doing that was different?
So my mom interpreted her abstract ideas into this, and she was working with wool, but they were basically her paintings. And there was a woolen mill in the small town that we were living in, so she would buy big pieces of wool, like fabric wool.
Like raw?
No, I'm sorry, made into fabric, so like very boiled wool or almost felted.
Oh,
You think plaid jackets,
Oh,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, very like traditional again. And she would strip them
Oh.
into tiny bits, and she would hook with them. She did also yarn, so you could combine. You can do yarn. You could do also. Now I'm interested in other kind of fibers as well. Again, hardware store kind of thing. But she mostly stripped big bolts of fiber and would do it. So she would find like during hunting season, the oranges, the brights come out.
Whoa.
So she would strip that. I mean, and it was bright. I can show you some examples too.
I'd love to see.
And so she would, again, she kind of figured the stuff out as she went along, and she wasn't precise. Like her pieces are all over the place, but I think that's what makes them really fun and fantastic. So let's see, I ignored her for a year, and then I called her up and I said, you know, you're kind of onto something. I mean, I enjoyed the pieces. I love the pieces that are in my home. There's seat covers and rugs, and they would take her 10 years to make because she had so much other stuff going So I always enjoyed them, and then I was kind of like, oh, that's not a bad idea, especially with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the painting, anything that takes cleaning up, setting up, breaking down.
Yeah, because by the time you get it out,
Oh, forget it.
I know. Even my sewing machine just stays there for a while because I'm like, I can't.
Oh, sewing machine is like,
Yeah.
it's big,
Yeah.
and you have to put it away.
And my toddler once
Oh yeah. Oh no, please.
pressed the pedal with
No.
my thumb under,
No.
or was one of my fingers. Yeah, that
Is it
hurt.
back?
It's back.
Oh, did you go to the hospital?
No, it wasn't that bad, but man, it was.
Yeah, anything that's electronic and has needles going up and down. Again, like I'm not so into like anything that fire tools,
Fire, puncture,
because
needles.
even with like I have band-aids all over the place and I don't do anything. I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's just motherhood.
it's just motherhood.
It's just like cooking dinner.
Even. It's like sharp baby nails, or you know what I mean.
Right,
You just
right.
find yourself bleeding.
So, so at this point, when you returned to rug cooking, or I guess,
No, started.
yeah,
doing
started, you had already been a mother.
Yes, and I found it so easy. And it was like I went through a phase of knitting, and I still pick it up, but I found this so satisfying because it was so quick,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have to count.
Mm-hmm.
Again, back to those instruction things. It
And,
was
and putting it down, picking it up. That's the
Yeah.
hard part. You always have to make a note.
yeah, and even that. I mean, I give it up to you knitters. I mean, every ounce of concentration I have went into those pieces. Like you could see
Yeah.
the saliva coming
Yeah.
down. I have to concentrate so hard, and this is totally different. This is really this is painting with fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I love that because I love embroidering, and I
Okay.
tell people it's like drawing with a thread and needle. So I
Mhm.
feel like it's a really similar place in my brain.
yes, and they all of those repetitive crafts, for lack of a better word, arts. They're meditative.
Yeah.
You know, they calm you down.
Yeah. So talk about how you took this from just trying it to a book and kids and classes, and I mean, is this your business now?
Yeah, how did it start? So I was doing it. Someone saw what I did, my pillows. They asked them to have them in their store, and then they asked me to do a gallery show. And they said we need big pieces for like a Manhattan showroom for Design Week or.
Mm-hmm. Design Week. That
Yeah.
sounds right.
Right, sounds good. So I was like, yeah, I'll try that. And I did some, and the theme was black and white, so I did some big rug pieces, black and white, and I was hooked.
Did you see what she did there?
Hooked.
See what she did there?
Yeah.
And so,
Like it.
I mean, where are you in your life at this point? Are you trying to find work? Are you trying to be an artist? Are you only doing the mom thing? Like,
Yeah.
how do you get found and to ask to do a gallery? How does that happen?
Yeah, it's lots of balls in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of different things. My main steady gig that I've been doing for almost 15 years is teaching in schools and museums, teaching art.
Cool.
So I get to be the traveling artist and get to do that. And with that, I would do teaching packets where I could teach teachers to do small projects with their students
On their own.
on their own. And so then I really got into like coming up with ideas that were inexpensive and that were quick and that teachers could really respond to.
Mhm.
So then I would do lots of projects, and like on my Instagram feed, it's not all rug cooking. It's like all these like quick projects I could do
Mhm.
that look nice, that don't look like something like the tin can or the egg crate thing.
Or
that you
the
just kinda-
noodles.
The noodles. I kind of like noodles. I dye noodles. They can look really. Yeah, but I understand. Like
You know what I
no
mean?
gluing noodles on.
Yeah,
it.
no Elmer's glue and construction paper and noodles. We're elevating it a little bit.
A little bit,
Mhm.
just so you have. It's not that like it's been a month. Maybe I can sneak this into the trash can thing.
Mhm.
Things that you can actually use, and I think that's a huge thing. I like practical things.
And so reusing and upcycling sounds like it's part of your deal too.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Upcycling in hardware store was pretty much my thing for a long time. So I taught. I would put together ideas, then make it into packets. What else did I do? People would buy my stuff every once in a while.
Like finished pieces.
Like finished pieces, anything from paintings to whatever little things I would make, they'd find them and I'd sell them, or a store would be interested and I'd make a few. So those kind of little things. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving out any big source of income.
Well, it's okay. Like, it sounds a lot like my life as an actor. I kind of piece many things together.
Mhm.
I call it the hustle.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the
that's
hustle.
what it is.
And for a while, I used to have like a pie chart of like where my income came and like, you know, where this was. I don't do that anymore. But it sort of sounds like that. Like, you'll have these gigs and you'll make something as also a mom. And
Yeah, and I'm gonna make that pie chart because I need to be reminded, like, oh right, there's that little projects that I need to do.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still going into the schools, and I'm still, you know, I don't have childcare and babysitting and
Yeah.
that. And I'm doing the rug hooking,
Mhm.
and so I get commissions.
Yeah.
And I'm also doing the kits
Mhm.
for Soho. So that's fantastic.
So how did Pro Soho find you?
That's a really good question too. And you see that I can't even.
I feel like it's all like networking and just,
it's amazing sometimes. They found me through Instagram,
yeah.
but I was a customer for the very beginning, you know,
Mhm.
back in. And I just go in there and I just like, so good, I know
Pro Soho.
Soho. So when I got that Pro Soho was interested in anything, I was like, yes, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And they met with me because they were interested in this rug hooking. And I also gave them my craft book, a little craft book that was out. And so they have that on there, even though it's self-published. And I made it in like 2 months with an iPhone. It's really kind of put together, but it's DIY. And they have it there on their shelf.
DIY book.
It's a DIY. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
One day I'll do like a real deal, but
Yeah.
right now it's a DIY.
I saw a couple of photos in it, and they're just, I love the photos.
Thanks. There's only one hand seen in all the photos because the other hand is holding my iPhone like this. But again, lots of photo instructions.
Mhm.
Not
Less
a lot.
words.
Not a lot of words.
Yeah.
So it's true to me. And that's been a thing that's been there and it's been fantastic. And then my kids, and they were interested in doing a certain, you know, getting kits in for this rug hooking. And I was like, Mom, we're gonna dye the wool, put them in the kits, and we were really doing it all ourselves. I would go up to Vermont, we would dye the natural fiber because I didn't love the color options.
Mhm.
And again, they were very muted, and I wanted things that were lighter and brighter.
Mhm.
Lots of like clean whites and tones like that. So my mother loved it, and we would dye in the house in Vermont, my parents' house. And then she would send me huge installments of yarn, but my kits were like there was 9 different shades of colors, and we were so not precise, and so each kit would be a little bit different than the other one,
Uh-huh.
which you could call it like a custom, but it was really like too much to get like that green and that yellow and that
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I got really lucky, and I found the dream rug yarn place.
Well, I was going
Dream.
to say, what is the difference between rug yarn
Mhm.
and yarn I'm knitting with? So let's talk about the place and why it's different.
Okay, so rug yarn is free fly,
Okay.
and it tends to be coarse.
Mhm.
It's very sturdy,
Mhm.
very hardy. These rugs are meant to be walked on for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not gonna fuzz up.
Mhm.
They're not gonna break apart. They can be washed, they can be dried, they can, you know, anything you can imagine, and they hold up beautifully. So it's not necessarily yarn you'd want to make a sweater out of and put it on you.
Yeah. Maybe you'd want to sweep the house with that yarn.
You know, it's
Not
actually
that
not
coarse.
that bad. You know, I have some sweaters that are pretty, yeah.
Well, I like a wool rug.
Yeah.
When I'm ordering rugs, I always look at the fiber content and I want it to be wool.
Yeah.
Because I like how it feels on my feet.
There you go. And they're sturdy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they hold up.
Yeah, and they're natural.
And so, do you know about the milling process? Like, is it different from like sweater yarn or?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure how different it is. It still gets milled, twisted.
Or the
and-
actual wool, is it a different animal?
Nope, 100% wool. A lot of the wool I find, because for a while I was trying to source my own, and
Mhm.
a lot of it comes from New Zealand for
Mm.
some reason. It's just a 3-ply. It's boiled ahead of time before the
Mhm.
dyeing, or it should be, I should say, because then it really holds up
It's
well.
a little felted. Kind of
Yeah,
oil.
exactly. Which makes sense because you could hook with yarn, and then you can also hook with felted strips,
Mhm.
right? So there's a similarity there.
And it's, I mean, it reminds me the most of Lopi
Ah, interesting.
Touching
Isn't
this.
Lopi super soft though?
No, I mean it probably changes with washing and wear,
Yeah.
but it's just at first you feel like it's a little scratchy,
Yeah.
and if you're not, I think if you're not knowledgeable about wool, you can judge it
Yeah.
too harshly.
Yeah.
Be like, I don't want to knit with this, even though it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So this is what it mostly reminds me of, like if you got a bulky Lopi. I'm just saying that for people who can't touch it.
Yeah, and not only that, but you can rug hook with anything. So it doesn't have to be this.
Yeah.
I always recommend beginners to hook with this because it will run through your Oxford punch needle.
Yeah,
The
let's talk
easiest.
about these.
Yeah, we'll get there because this is the key right here.
Yeah.
And it's so it's most consistent when hooking,
Mhm.
but also it holds up like nothing else. Now you can use anything you want, but you know how certain knits, like the soft stuff, it tends to be the stuff that the bulky soft stuff.
Yeah,
with
breaks.
it. Yeah, forget
Yeah.
it. So you
Forget
wouldn't want to, unless you put it on the wall. And if you put
Especially-
it on the wall and don't handle it, then you could, then the freedom.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
If it's art. But if you're gonna
Sorry.
walk on it.
Or sleep on it.
So talk about the store that has the best.
Okay. So this was my find over the summer because I was really, again, dyeing my own. Or my mother was, and she still does. Supplements. Sorry, I'm using that here. But I found this place in Vermont, and it's all hand dyed by this one woman. It's two women that own it. One woman primarily does the dyeing. It's called Seal Harbor Rug Company.
SEAL.
SEAL. Harbor.
Like the animal.
Like the Maine town.
Oh,
Seal.
it's
Oh, but
a
it's
town.
Seal. Yes.
Yeah.
The Seal
Seal
Harbor as in
Harbor.
the town in Maine.
Okay, cool.
That's what I've heard.
I need to go there.
Oh, it is so good. First of all, she's like so amazing and precise, and everything is like it's magical. And the colors, she has over 200 different colors, which is a huge palette selection. I think they're even making more, and they're like amazing. I mean, so different than anything you could find out there.
So it's only rug hooking yarn there.
Yes.
That's their whole business.
Oh yeah. Oh, because rug hooking is huge.
In Vermont, especially.
In Vermont, but also like all over the U.S. And it's been
I have to do this.
like more than like 200, 300 years. This goes back.
Thousands of millions
Thousands
of
of
years.
years. I should get my dates straight, but for sure people have been doing, and there's festivals around this, and there's a rug hooking, it's a major thing. It's just not, it hasn't been mainstream.
We're gonna make this mainstream today.
I'm so glad you found me.
Okay, so let's talk about how to do this.
Okay, so this
What do
is,
you need?
so this is the tool. So let's talk about
Okay, well,
here.
what is this called again?
This is called the
Oxford.
Oxford punch needle.
Look at this. I already love it.
Yeah. 'cause
Also,
it's
I
a thing of beauty.
I also feel like this could double as, a weapon.
Totally.
You just carry it in your purse, you could be hooking, and then if you feel like in danger, be like,
Absolutely.
you want to keep that eyeball?
It looks scary too with that one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you get this?
So the creator of this tool, her name is Amy Oxford.
Amy Oxford.
And right now she can't keep them in supply. So I couldn't even fulfill my kits because she would order more than she ever thought she could sell. And they sell out in a day. All over the world
Oh
too.
my goodness, where is she located?
Vermont? Yeah. So she was doing rug patterns for, I think, the McAdoo company, which was a very big rug company. And the tool that they had, or they still have, it's still out there. It's metal, it's plastic, it's not as fluid, it's harder to thread. So there's a lot of problems. And she was getting a lot of hand issues with the constant punching. And she knew exactly what she needed and how to fix it. So she worked with someone and she came up with this tool, and she's never had hand problems again. It's so fast to thread, it's so streamlined, and it's pretty.
I know what the word for that is.
Yeah, tell me.
Ergonomic.
Ooh, good word. Would never come out of my mouth. That was fantastic. So this is the tool. It comes in a few different sizes, but the sizes just mean how big you want your loops to be.
Okay, so it's not about your hand.
It's not about your hand.
Okay.
One size
So it's
fits
like
all.
knitting needles
It's
and crochet hooks. You
Yeah.
know this size. This is a 10.
That's very good. Did you see that number?
I did.
It's hidden.
But I'm almost
She's-
gonna not be able to see that number.
You
I'm
have
getting
a very good
close. I'm in that place where I'm like, what do I want to see? Okay.
And mine's a little, like, you can't really see, but mine's a little dirty because
Oh,
of my hand-dyed indigo. That it never came off.
Yeah, blue is rough. I have some blue needles.
I'm surprised my hands are clean 2 years later. I really, it was like, not going anywhere.
Okay.
So let's see. So this is a piece in process.
Okay.
I
So
can
I
show
already
you.
feel intimidated by this wood frame and the canvas. So
No.
get me
do
past
not
that.
be.
Get me past that.
So first of all, the frame, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but it needs to be very tight, the backing, or else it's going to be really frustrating because there's a lot of force going into punching. So the frame, all it is stretcher bars. You can make your own.
Say it clearly.
Oh, stretcher bars.
Stretcher bars.
Yes.
Okay.
Any art supply shop.
Have the stretcher bar.
Blick, absolutely. And
Oh,
you can,
yeah, I see that.
You can build your own size. So
Cool.
however big or small you want to go.
And then where do you get the?
The cloth backing, there's a few different types.
This feels like burlap.
Yes. Well, this is actually linen, which is twice as expensive as what's most people used. This is called monk's cloth.
Monk's cloth.
Monk's cloth.
Okay.
And it's cotton.
Am I doing the back? Oh, this is the front.
Yeah.
So this is monk's cloth. This is cotton.
Yeah, and I should have better strips. I could show you the plain.
It kind of reminds me of very thick cross-stitching fabric.
Exactly.
Um,
There's a warp and a weft to it.
Okay.
And so that's why your needle's going to go through.
so warp is which side?
Oh, yeah, you tell me. This is
And weft.
weaving terms.
But it means like,
It means
like-
crossed hat.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So
Is
I'm trying to find something that's not made for rug hooking that can be used, but pretty much this is a huge problem that people have because they can't get rug hooking supplies, so they find some other kind of trick like linen or something, and it never works so well. It
Okay.
can work, but it's a lot more frustrating.
okay,
So
so we want linen. with-
rug hooking linen,
Rug hooking linen.
or rug hooking a monk's cloth.
Okay, and then once we have our, what do you call this again? Frame?
Oh, yes.
Stretcher bars.
Very good.
Stretcher bars.
Uh-huh.
Then you use your staple gun,
Yes,
which you have to have a staple gun.
they're great.
I just got a staple gun. They're the best.
Oh my gosh, talk about power.
Right?
No
You just
injuries yet.
press the button and it's like, whoa!
Yeah.
And then
Give it back.
you do this yourself.
Yes, and
Staple gun.
Yeah, and you just have to make it really tight, so you're pulling and you're stapling. Now, there's other ways to do it. Some people like the traditionalists would use like carpet tack, and it's just like spiky little nails, so you can stretch it over. I don't like anything too sharp in the house.
Yeah, that feels like a
Yeah.
accident waiting to happen.
They put things over it so you're not exposing your skin to it, but just the fact that it'd be lying on the floor or
yeah,
something.
you
So
step on it, you
Yeah.
get that X-ray with the nail up your heel.
ooh, yeah, carpet tack.
Okay, so
So
we've gotten past that.
yeah, so you stretch it tight,
Yeah.
the backing's on, and then your frame, and then you can just go.
Yeah.
Now, you're not counting, you're not doing anything. You can draw any design you want. I'm not a big fan of templates, so I'm always encouraging people to just kind of go with it. Because the most wonderful thing about rug hooking is not only how fast it goes, but how fast you can change your mind and take it out.
Yes.
And reuse right where you took it out. So it doesn't have to, so even though you're gonna take it out and it's gonna look like you left big holes, you can just hook right back into that.
Yeah, no one will know.
spot. No one will know.
And I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, but she's used these are like invisible, they're erasable. They're
Mhm.
like those markers that you use in sewing.
Like quilting markers.
Yeah, and so
fabric
she's
markers.
marked this up, yeah, fabric markers, and there's blue designs, and then you'll just hook into the shapes.
Yeah, and I've
Designs,
used,
shapes.
I mean, up until recently, I was using a Sharpie, just
Oh,
because
really?
it won't come off. And I'm kind of, yeah. I mean,
You just-
Sharpies you're frightened because
Right,
it's so
but you
permanent.
just hook over it.
You just
you're
hook
never
over
gonna
it.
see
Exactly. The one thing you do have to be careful about is that there is a border, and so you cannot draw into that border, or you cannot hook into that border, I should say, because your needle won't go through. So
Yeah.
you do have to just kind of keep that in mind, or draw an outline.
Yeah, okay, cool. And
Yeah.
so, do you want to show me how to do one real quick?
Yeah. So, the most amazing thing is, let's choose a color that will stand out. Seal Harbor.
Seal Harbor.
Seal Harbor.
That's
Okay.
the first step.
Okay, so the tail end of your yarn, and it could be fiber, it doesn't have to be just yarn, through the open end of the slot, and you're gonna take the end that's connected to your skein.
working yarn.
Yeah, very good. Put it in the back, so it's like this, and then to make it sit flat inside the tool, you pour forward, and you pull back.
So is that your tail?
So this is my tail, and you don't want any tail showing because it's just wasted yarn.
Yeah, why?
So you're gonna pull it right up to the front.
Oh,
to
wow.
start. That's it. So even if you constantly have to change the color, it's so fast.
I'm scared about, okay, wait, I'm jumping ahead. All right, let me see if I can do this.
No
This does look
pressure.
really easy though. Okay, here we go. Wait, oh, I have to put it through this hole?
Yeah, through this side. That's
Oh, okay,
that's the
sorry.
hard part.
I missed that detail.
Sometimes I fold it over because then it's
Yeah.
fiber. There you go.
Oh, so it has to be threaded, okay.
It has to be
And
threaded.
then the lay flat part, I get that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I might like have a new craft, you guys.
Yeah, and you don't have to use your thumb to put it in. You just pull frontwards and back. You want it to slide through, so you don't want to even touch it.
Oh, I see it, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Don't waste anything.
See, first time. Right.
Okay, and then, but am I allowed to do it on this? This
Totally.
is yours.
Oh.
'Cause you can just rip it
I
out.
can just take it out. I
Okay,
am so not concerned.
So then what?
Okay, so then you ready?
Mhm.
So you're always gonna punch with the slot side facing in the direction you're going in.
Okay.
Now I hold it like I don't even know how I hold it. I hold like this.
I'll
I've
just
seen
watch
people
you.
hold it lots of different ways.
Okay.
Whatever works best,
Okay.
whatever you're most comfortable in. So you're inserting it into the fiber.
And it
Now-
doesn't matter where.
It doesn't matter where.
So these
You don't have
holes
to
don't
start-
mean anything like cross stitching.
No, you don't really have to pay attention to the hole.
Just pretend it's regular fabric.
Yes,
Okay.
you're just drawing it in, going all the way in until the wood meets the base of the fiber.
Okay.
And then you're carefully removing it, and you don't want to pull the needle away from the backing.
Okay.
Keeping it really close, you're just moving it up a very small increment,
Okay.
and you're repunching.
Okay.
Taking out, repunching. Look, and
And you're
that's all
making.
it is. And you're moving it
Okay.
along. And you want to go, in the beginning, like the outline, they say to keep it really tight,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of loosen up when you
I'm
fill it
already
in.
obsessed with this.
This is amazing. So listen to this, even makes the sound.
Watch me do this.
No pressure, and it might be hard, like you have to figure out how to hold it, the frame.
I'll make sure you can see me. Okay. I'm gonna be really good at this.
I like how careful you are. Yes. You're stabbing. I mean, there's something to be said about that right now.
Wow.
Have they repeatedly stab?
I kind of like needle felting for that reason because I think that it, when you're upset,
Oh yeah, it's like voodoo.
Likes needles.
Yeah.
like the worry dolls. Yeah, how am I doing?
Perfect.
I think mine's
Amazing.
a little not
No, no,
as
no.
even as yours.
They're just tight. They're super tight, which is great.
So I can add more space.
Yes.
I think I was getting nervous about the keeping the needle close part, but I can keep it close and go up a little more.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. I'm gonna make bigger ones now. I'm a natural. I'm a
Really,
hooker.
this is really all it is. I mean, I teach my workshops, and people are good to
Like,
go
look at
after
that.
2 hours. Amazing. Beautiful. Look at that.
I'm a hooker.
You're a hooker.
I knew it. Okay, now wait. What about the behind part? So how can I? It's not gonna hit me, right?
Okay, so it is going to hit you. So you can't have, because the needle goes through,
Yeah.
you can't have it on a surface, and you shouldn't probably have it on your leg because it
Yeah.
will stab you.
So you're kind of your left hand is pretty engaged here.
Yeah, and you're going to come into a
Uh-oh.
problem. You know why?
Why?
All it is because your tension, something messed with your tension. 95% of the time it's because you're sitting on it.
And I just was.
No,
Right. Oh.
it was actually just stuff around the frame.
Okay.
It's me that's always sitting on it.
Oh, so tension
so
is
then,
a thing. Okay.
So then you see that it didn't attach.
yeah, I don't like that.
So
So,
you just take it out, pull it back,
oh
and
my
start.
gosh. Stop.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I
Again.
love this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Keep
so
going.
when you need to change yarn or whatever, like
Mhm.
what do you do with the tail? You just
So and again, you're not gonna believe this. You knitters tying.
You
your
knitters.
set. You are. This is where you.
you just
Yeah. So you carefully take the needle out
Yeah.
like this, pull it away so you have all this slack.
Yeah.
Because if it hangs there, you could pull out your yarn.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna.
No.
Yeah, I swear.
No.
Yep.
You can't.
Now this is the part that people can't grasp. It's like if it's this easy to put in, then why doesn't it just pop right
Yeah.
out, right? Why are they so
Yeah,
durable?
why?
Tension.
It's all
You
about
just gotta
tension.
trust that it's gonna work.
I mean, it is super tight. Right here.
Yeah, I mean it needs more. It needs friends on either side
Right, to support.
to support. Right now it
Yeah,
it's not
because
so.
how are you gonna ever? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Look at what I
here's-
did.
Yeah.
I did that.
No help.
Just the top part.
No help at all.
Okay, so what else are we gonna
So
do?
here's the crazy thing, because my pieces, I like the side that you're working on. I like the side that you can see the pattern, you can see the design. Here's one I finished yesterday or 2 days ago. So you can really clearly see the outline.
Hardy.
traditionally, it's this side that shows. This is the loop side. This is what pertains to the size needle. Now, I never clean this side up. So you see how like there's big pieces and little pieces
Yeah.
and the lines aren't so clean. I could do a lot to clean this up. But because I intend to show it on this side, I don't care about cleaning it up.
So you work on the wrong
I
side.
worked on the wrong side. So everything you're really doing is kind of come out the reverse.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be the wrong side.
Right.
Traditionally, with rug hookers that make big rugs, the plush side, the loop side, is
Yeah.
the side you have displayed when company comes over.
Uh-huh.
When the company walks out the door, you flip it over.
No.
Yes. 2 sides. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can choose any side you want. And it's fun because you go, which side should I choose?
Yeah, which
You
side?
could choose both if it's
And so when you say clean this up, what would you mean? You trim it?
yeah, so like anything that sticks up, you just give it a little
Trim it?
haircut. You can knock things into place with a tool, like you see how
I
the
see.
blue went into the pink.
Yeah,
you
just
just
knock it
clean
into
up the
place.
lines.
Okay, now, if I don't want to make a rug,
Mm.
what else will I make
Okay.
with this technique?
So
What you got
I know,
next?
this is what I ask myself every night as I fall to sleep. I love to think outside the box. I love to do like what you're not gonna expect with rug yarn. So I've made little this is what
I
I
have
made.
one right here that I thought I
Yeah.
just got in the close-up.
I just made this for my daughter because
Look.
you need a purse right away.
Look at
when
her
you're a
little
baby.
purse.
Right? Little plush. I mean, it'd be great for like an iPhone case or like a cell phone case.
And this is the plush outside.
That's the plush. Yeah, rarely do I show the plush. They're great as wall hangings. They're great as let me think. Bags.
Well, you had a
pillows.
cushion.
Cushions. I'm gonna the cushions in the baby's room.
Yeah,
And she's
I want to see that.
so big cushions. But I'm always trying to think what else can be used for it. Any kind of like home.
Yeah, anything.
There's so many.
A bag. Did you see a bag already? We showed the purse. Like a big bag.
Big bag, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was even trying to like incorporate into clothing, but that's because it's very.
It's heavy, but you could do like a little
Yeah.
yoke or a pocket or something.
And you ready for
Cuff.
Totally.
Okay, what? I'm ready for what?
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
So this comes in regular and fine.
Fine.
Fine meaning you can do it almost looks like embroidery, but it's not easy.
And that's better than
So
embroidery.
you could do well. We don't want to offend any. I'm sure.
I
they
love
have it.
embroidering. I'm an embroiderer.
But yes, it goes really fast, and you can use really fine cotton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't this great?
I know the options, right?
Okay, so your kits are right now sold out, right?
But I expect my shipment of supplies coming today.
Okay, so by the time you're seeing this, you can get this at
Pearl Soho
PearlSoho
or my Etsy site.
or Etsy, and I'll put links to both down below.
Thank you.
And we need to take a field trip to Seal Harbor.
Oh my gosh. Because not only is Seal Harbor's in Manchester, Vermont, Amy Oxford is 20 minutes from there.
I think we need to
Cornwall,
interview both
Vermont.
of them.
And she is, I mean, all those ladies deserve the best because they're incredible.
Yeah.
They're incredible. So there you go.
I'm so happy. Is there anything else I didn't talk about that I forgot?
I don't know.
I feel
I'm
like- I
yeah.
feel like we covered it.
You pretty much.
Well, you
covered it.
can, if you want to take a real life class with you, that's also an option for
Yes.
locals,
I
right?
do a lot of workshops.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
should we look at that on your website?
Yeah, I haven't posted any new dates for the new year, but I have a class this Saturday. I know it's going to be too late for the rest, but yeah, my workshops.
Yeah, so you can keep up with it if you want to go
Yeah.
to real life.
And you get the hand dyed, your own selection of wool, and you get the tool, and you get the backing, and everything's done for you, so you can really just concentrate.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that because I do feel like there's sometimes that initial step of like, can I do this?
Yes.
And yes, you can!
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Thank you so much for being on my channel.
Thank you so much for coming.
And go check out everything Rose has going on and let me know if you start rug cooking or if you've done it before. And I mean, I have a bajillion, gazillion things to do, but I really do think I'm gonna like this. So I think I'm gonna try it. All right, see you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.
One has a lot of different, this is the plush side. This is the flat side.
Turn it around.
Exactly. This is yarn, but this is torn up and dyed bed sheets.
Wow.
And you can see that it's frayed, but it's in there. And then this I printed on the fabric ahead of time. So I just combined different kinds of techniques, and I'm playing around with that a lot.